Now, Playboy is not just a magazine. They own some of the most hardcore porn sites on the internet. I mean, I can't even repeat the names, but they own some really extremely hardcore porn sites. They also own all of Jenna Jameson's titles. They wouldn't be in business if they were just a softcore magazine. So he calls up and he names a site that he wants us to produce for, and so I did. I started producing, and they're paying $1,000 a day to us as the producers to do this one site. And that's on top of me producing for the sites in my own as well. And pretty soon they have me travel across the country and recruit, because that was kind of my specialty. I could talk most people into shooting porn.
Do you go into their office? Is this how this worked?
Yeah, I mean, I did go into their office, and at the very end of my career, they had me into their office and offered me another $4,000 a day to shoot a new reality series.
What? $4,000 a day?
$4,000 a day, yeah.
What was that, like for like a week?
No, I could shoot as many days a week as I wanted. They didn't have really a budget restraint on that particular series. They really wanted to get it going. And I'd already been doing business with them for 18 months. And so they're like, this would be perfect. And they had a script set out, and it was going to be like a reality type site. I'm sure that I'm not even going to go there.
I don't even know, man. $4,000 a day, okay. So, what happened? Did you do it, obviously?
I mean, I said yes, and then I was on my way home, and I mean, I don't know. Some of you are going to think I'm crazy now, but I'm just telling you what happened. I'm sorry. But in the meantime, let me, before I tell you what happened, tell you what started tearing down some of the hatred I had toward Christianity, which had been fueling me so long. Go to the next slide. There's this group called XXX Church. I think if you go to the right. There. They go into our porn conventions in Vegas. Now you got to understand that every year in Las Vegas there's a porn convention, and this is just before it's set up. There's, there's people that go there from all over the world.
Read the two side things.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Let me see. I got to bring it up on my iPad because I can't read it. It's too far up there. Escorts for the Disabled. Yeah, is the booth on your side to the left, and then Dexter Palmer Productions.
And then Jesus Loves Porn Stars in the middle.
Yeah.
And you were here at these porn conventions selling your product?
Yeah, well, I mean, because what had happened is I'd go to this one. I mean, I wouldn't sell there. I went to party because the big porn companies put on a party, and everything's free.
Okay.
All the alcohol that you want. And it was just great. I mean, you'd go there every year. And so normally when we'd walk down the halls to our convention center, there'd be people holding their picket signs and telling us that we're going to burn in hell and explaining how unpleasant that was going to be. And
sure, yeah.
We'd give them a one-finger salute and continue.
Yeah.
And it just kind of made us more angry. But this group, instead, they wanted to get inside and say, nah, that's not really what Jesus is about. He loves porn stars as much as he loves pastors or soccer moms. So they gave out these Bibles. Look at those Bibles. Those are actually Bibles that say Jesus loves porn stars on them.
It's hard to hate someone who's trying to give you one of them, I bet.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, well, me and Jesus have something in common. I love porn stars too. So it kind of had this double meaning that would make people laugh, but it was a serious message.
Yeah.
If you go over 2 slides from that, actually 3 slides from that, sorry, that girl is actually a porn star who currently has a lot of clothes on compared to how they usually are at these conventions. And this is someone from that group doing her makeup, and they were saying things like, we think there's more for you than this.
Yeah.
God loves you no matter who you are and what you're doing, but and you're beautiful. And we just think, there's more for you than this. If there's something that you'd like to talk about, we'll be in the bathrooms where the men can't grope you. Because all day long they're walking around this convention, they're being groped and cameras being stuck up under their skirts and, all this stuff happening. And I was thinking to myself, that's different.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to being screamed at and told about hell and the flames and, my skin melting off and stuff like that. And these people are saying that no matter what I've done, there's a God who loves me and wants me to.
But surely you didn't just
better with my life.
you didn't just look at that and go, okay, sign me in.
No, what happened was I decided that they would be a good place to spew all my venom and hatred because they're like there. So I was.
Was it while they were doing your makeup, or was it?
Actually,
don't go there.
No. But I would be very hateful to them, and they'd always respond. And over the course of 4 years, they kind of broke down my hatred. They had me on their website podcast, and they had all these Christians from all over the country that would email me nice things. I was like, wow. But I'm just telling you what happened for me because it broke down that hatred, and that's what had been fueling me for so long. And when it was finally gone, I really couldn't justify what I was doing anymore what I was seeing. I'm on vacation and I'm getting these calls like I told you about, and I'm thinking, that's what's paying for this vacation I'm on.
All right, so sorry to cut you off, but you're at the Playboy office. They've offered you the $4 or $5 grand a day, $4 grand a day thing. You've said yes.
I said yes, and I'm on my drive home, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to either get deeper into this or I'm going to stop. But what I was saying was, I said, God, it doesn't seem to matter, because I started praying a little bit once in a while. These XXX church people got in my head. And I was like, it doesn't seem to matter what I do. You want to bless me. I was basically saying, God, thanks for the new porn contract.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so great that you're giving me porn contracts now. And at that time, I felt like I literally had to pull over to the side of the road because my breath was kind of knocked out. I felt like I was shocked. It was like electric shock. My friend John the Atheist says that it was a short in my car. Whatever it was. Okay, it got my attention.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's time to stop. I just decided to stop. And I called my girlfriend, and
Now, did your girlfriend know that you were just offered the $4 grand?
No, she didn't know yet. So I called her as soon as I pulled back onto the road, and I said, good news and bad news. Good news is we got a new contract, and I told her about it, and she's screaming in my ear. And the bad news is I'm not picking up a camera ever again. I'm not going to do it. And she's like, yeah, right. So we came home, and the next 2 weeks was just pure misery as she's telling me I'm crazy, and I'm telling her I'm not doing it again.
Yeah. Did you have other friends trying to convince you? Did she try and rope some people?
No, everybody just thought that I would come back to my senses.
When did you get in touch with the people at Playboy to say no?
I told them, I don't think I actually ever told them. I just didn't do it.
Left Playboy hanging?
Yeah. I just never did it. I just didn't recruit.
They'll call me, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you go back to slide number 1 real quick, this guy right here was in that meeting. He's one of the managers at Playboy. It was me and the Playboy vice president, Joe Lackey, and then this guy's Mark Navarro. And Mark was the guy that we turned in all the stuff that we produced. And Belinda, of course, my girlfriend, when I told her, and she knew for sure I wasn't going to continue, then her and Mark kind of decided to go their own way together. Mm-hmm. So yeah, everything started going away. Because I never really saved money. I mean, porn's not going away, so why save money now? Maybe later when we have kids, we'll, So things start crashing down, and bill collectors start calling, and houses get foreclosed on, and cars get repossessed, and
she's gone at this point. You're on your own.
Yeah, unfortunately, very fortunately for me, the foreclosure process in California takes a while.
Yeah.
So I'm living in this house all alone because I had her take everything. It's pretty much empty except for my personal belongings, and things are being taken back by the banks every day. And but I never felt more peace, because now all of a sudden I don't feel like I'm destroying lives anymore, because you really feel like you're doing it. And as a person sitting behind a screen, you don't have to put up with that. But seriously, I'm telling you, even if you're getting your stuff from free sites, bandwidth costs money. There's not any way of justifying where you get it. There's always a way to make money at it.
Yeah.
I advertised on a big free site when I had my pay sites, and the first 15 text links
on the free site
were $2,000 a day is what I had to pay to be on there. So It doesn't matter where you're getting it. Even from torrents, they're seeded by porn companies, and all this other ways of getting it. It's all seeded by porn companies, and a lot of this amateur stuff is actually hired. There's porn companies that hire people to create it, because there's not user-submitted content is, a reality a little bit, but most of it's generated by a porn company making it look user-submitted.
Did you go obviously to the Playboy mansion?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, at night, when the lights are off, it looks really magical, to be honest with you.
Does Hugh Hefner live there?
No, he's there a lot, but he doesn't. I've seen him through a window, but I've never actually, partied with him. But yeah. Kendra, his ex-girlfriend, I've met her. She's pretty nice. But the mansion in the daytime is just falling apart. It's pretty. At nighttime, when you're being served a bunch of free drinks, it looks great.
Yeah.
But it's really
people live there. The ladies live there.
The girls do, and it's kind of nasty conditions inside.
I've heard that, yeah.
dogs pooping on the floor and old mattresses and things like that.
Oh my gosh. Here's something that often gets brought up, and that's the high level of sexual abuse that happens to girls before they get in the industry. Now, I doubt that's all the time, but from the ladies I've spoken to who've been in the industry, they say, in their opinion, it's more often than not. I actually just bought the book, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, Jenna Jameson. I gave the book to my wife. I'm like, please rip out these pictures and color nice little dresses on her for me. Thank you. Make her modest. Terrific. Okay. And I was reading Jenna Jameson, a bit of the book, you know, and she was actually interviewed on Howard Stern in the States, and he asked her flat out, have you ever been abused or molested? To which she said, absolutely not. Which makes sense. I mean, there's nothing kind of sexy about being abused as a kid, right? In her book, she actually admits that she lied about that, and she talks about as a teenager in high school that she was actually, you know, offered a ride by these teenage guys, and she actually gang raped and left for dead. She woke up in a pool of her own blood.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's every single situation. Clearly, it probably isn't. But in your experience, is that?
No, I mean, there's a mix of that, but there's also just the girl next door who thinks that it's not going to be harmful if she works for Donny. And I'd get her hooked on the money and lead her down a path, because what's so harmful about just taking my clothes off in Playboy style?
Yeah.
Well, then you get hooked on that money, and we get you a little bit harder and a little bit harder. You want to keep making this money, you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this. And pretty soon you're doing stuff that you never, ever intended to do.
I want to wrap up here because I want to ask just so many questions to kind of pique people's interest, and maybe we can have some Q&A. But I guess I just want to ask you like a final question, and that's, or maybe a couple, but like what advice or what kind of would you give to someone that maybe is thinking maybe this isn't a good idea, maybe I want to quit, or maybe they think there's nothing wrong with it? Like, what would you sort of?
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you something. Like, I'm a very firm. I hated people telling me what I should and shouldn't think growing up. I hated that, so I'm not going to do that to anyone. You're an intelligent person. You get to choose if you want to participate in this. It really is human trafficking. Even though the people are overage, there's no doubt that it's human trafficking. I've seen it from the inside, and I see how we work and how we manipulate. But if that's okay with you, that's your choice. If you need some help, there's all sorts of tools available that between you and I both, we know quite a few. The first way of doing it is just admit, hey, you know, I'm going to probably need help. Breaking away from this attraction. I think that there's a video, if you don't mind, that I'd like to show.
Yeah, sure.
As we close, because
do you have it there?
In the video, the girl is displayed as being underage and 13. However, you can watch her eyes, and I saw the same thing happen in all the girls 18 and over that I ever photographed.
Turn the lights down.
And videotaped.